Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, I hope all of you can see the slides which I have shared right now. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. So as I already mentioned, the topic which today I would like to discuss with you all is enhancing the quality and accessibility of higher education through the use of information communication technology and e-learning. So myself already introduced by Professor Nagendraswamy sir. So to start with this session, I just wanted to quote this, which I felt very appropriate. Every interaction is an opportunity to learn only if we are interested in improving rather than proving. So with this beautiful and a very meaningful quote, let me give an overview of today's lecture. So I would like to briefly mention about the education and the technology. Keyboard ಇಟ್ಟಿಲ್ವಾ?
ಇದೆ ಸರ್, ಇದೆ.
ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ?
Slide show.
Okay, please. Thank you. Right.
ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
Right. ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ?
ಇನ್ನೊಂದಿದೆ.
ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ? ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ? Okay. ನೋಡಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋಣ.
ಸರ್, ಅದೇ ನಾನು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ತರಾನೇ ಇನ್ನಾಗಿರೋದು, ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನನಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ಏಕೆ?
ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸರ್,
ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ
ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಜಸ್ಟ್
Please move this window away from the shared application into the type.
just.
So 1 minute, dear participants. There is some issue with the slide. I mean, the system, even if you use the next slide, it is not shown properly. Just 1 minute, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
By default ಆತರ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಂಗ್
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದು ನಮಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ರೈಟ್. ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಶೋ ಕೊಡಿ. 1 minute. ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಓಕೆ ರೈಟ್. Okay, so thank you for your patience. There was some issue. I think now it has been sorted out. So as I was mentioning, the overview of my presentation covers the education and technology, challenges in education system, rationale for introducing ICT in education, definition of ICT and ICT literacy, ICT characteristics and its role in the process of education, ICT tools and its influence in learning, e-learning, its characteristics, benefits and platforms, notable initiatives of use of ICT in education, factors that affect the adoption of ICT in education, the potential drawbacks of using ICT in education, and followed by the summary. As a glimpse, I just mentioned these important points before you, where I try to cover these points in my presentation in this lecture. I have referred the web sources and some books in order to prepare this material. And some of the points are very general. Of course, all of you are quite familiar with that. But just for the sake of continuity and completeness, I have included those points. And they're all very self-explanatory. I don't think it requires any additional explanation. But still, in case, if we want to discuss on any of those points, you are free to interact with me at any point of time, and we shall have this session in an interactive way so that it will be beneficial for everyone. So with this, let's move on. Technology will never replace great teachers, but in the hands of great teachers, it is transformational. And this is a very, very meaningful and a very powerful quote by George Couros. So many times we say that the technology will replace the teachers. So definitely not. We need teachers. Of course, today we use the technology to deliver the content. You are at a distant place, sitting in front of your laptop or a desktop or a smartphone and listening to my lecture. This is what is the technology. But there must be a teacher who can deliver that content in an effective way. And now, definitely, many people may think that the technology will replace many things, but it is not true. The technology will never replace the great teachers. But in the hands of the great teachers, it is definitely a transformational, which will bring a very significant change in the pedagogy or in the society in a positive way. And that's what the meaning of this very meaningful and beautiful quote. So with this, let me highlight some points related to education and technology, which you are already familiar because we're all teachers. We know what is education and what is technology and other things. So education is the driving force of economic and social development in any country. Considering this, it is necessary to find ways to make education of good quality accessible and affordable to all using the latest technology available. So definitely you can accept this statement, because maybe some 30 or 40 years back, when the people wanted to study in a premier institutes, it was not possible because they were not accessible and also not affordable. Even today also, for many class of people, we normally call it as middle class or below middle class and etc. I mean, in terms of economic parameter. So definitely many times we comment on that. We cannot send our kids to a premier public schools or convents or any residential schools where the cost will be more than 5 lakhs per annum. Not affordable, and many times not accessible to many class of people. So definitely such class of people will be away from a quality education. But today, with the support of technology, this barrier can be overcome. Because today, with the technology, anybody can access to any material all over the globe. For example, you want to access a Stanford University, definitely it is possible. And a lot of online courses are offered with an affordable price. Definitely we can enroll and we can get a good quality education. And a lot of high quality materials are made available in the form of video lectures, audio lectures, and any other forms which anybody can freely access and get a quality information, or in fact a good education. So in this context, definitely the technology what we are having today has really made a significant change in the education sector also. So in the hands of the great people, definitely we can make education of good quality, accessible and affordable to all class of people, irrespective of any economic parameter using the latest technology. So with this, integration of information and communication technologies in higher education is essential for imparting easily accessible, affordable, and quality higher education, leading to the economic upliftment of India. So, as you already learned many things, and you are quite familiar with the information and communication technology tools. And today, mobiles have become very, very smart, and the students and the parents and the teachers and whoever interested to learn something new can make use of the smartphone. And with the information and communication technology tools, we can definitely think of providing a very good information or a knowledge or education to all class of people. And that's what is the meaning here. By using this ICT in higher education, we can definitely impart easily accessible, affordable, and a quality higher education, which definitely leads to the economic upliftment of India. So with this brief note, now let's look at the challenges before the education system in India. The first one is the teacher-student ratio. So definitely, when you look at the survey, maybe even from a primary school till the higher education, that is a post-graduation, definitely when you look at, on an average, there is a teacher-student ratio issue will be there. Because in a class, there are 60 and 70 students. Even if you see in a few colleges or SSLC, or even in fact in a PG degree also, for some of the courses, there are more students but less teachers. The teacher-student ratio is one such challenge before the education system in India. That allotment of funds is another issue, and definitely you can agree with this, because if at all we want to we want to have a good infrastructure, right? Or we want to support the education system with the current state-of-the-art infrastructure facility, it demands a lot of funds, but it's very much important that the Department of Education, Government of Karnataka or the central government can think about it, and they have to give sufficient funds. It is not that they have to give, but it should be very, very efficiently and effectively utilized by the administrators. And that's what the challenge. Then expensive higher education. So definitely today we can see, of course, in government institutions like maybe the University of Mysore or any such kind of public universities, the cost of higher education is not that high. But when it goes to a private institutes, definitely the cost of higher education is high. It is very expensive. Even for an engineering degree, you have to pay lakhs together, right? Even for example, MSc in computer science and Master of Computer Applications, such kind of, and also MBA. So those courses in private colleges, it's very, very expensive. So it is another challenge in the education system. So lack of infrastructure, as we already mentioned, it demands a very good infrastructure in all aspects. Then high dropout rate. So when you look at the ratio, how many students have studied a bachelor's degree, and how many students are studying the post-graduation, and how many students are joining for higher education like PhD or MPhil or MTech and etc. When you look at that ratio, definitely there is a drastic change. That means we find less enrollment for post-graduation and also for higher kind of courses. That's what high dropouts. So you will see a statistics given by the recent survey. And another is the neglect of regional languages. This is also a very important thing. Of course, today the government has taken a serious note on this. They want the primary education should be done in a regional languages like Kannada, where the students can learn the concept better. Because once we understand the basic concepts in our mother tongue or a language, then definitely learning another language is not that difficult. But it demands more effort, right, and more time. But if we take it seriously, 100% it is possible that we can learn any language, and whatever the core concept we understand, that can be easily disseminated through any languages. So we should understand the core concepts in our mother language or a regional language. So that is the reason why the government has already initiated that. So up to SSLC, the students can learn any subject, maybe science or mathematics or economics, whatever the subject, they can comfortably learn in their mother language. That's what original language. Then lack of practical knowledge, that's also very much important. Many times we explain the theory, but we should also help students how we can use this theory or a concept in a practical scenario. Unless we expose students to such a practical knowledge, then whatever the theory we taught and whatever the concept, that will not at all be useful, right? So it's very much important that we have to create an environment or a scenario where the students can think of applying that knowledge in a practical situation or a practical scenario. So we should incorporate that component in our pedagogy so that we can make the students much more skilled, where whatever the concept they have studied in any subject for that matter can be practically used, right? So that's what the practical knowledge we need to impart. Then the problem of brain drain. So many times we see that the students who are graduated from our universities and from our country, they will go to abroad and they settle there, and whatever the knowledge they have acquired, that will be utilized for the people of that country, not for our mother country. So that's what is the problem of brain drain. So we have to identify such brilliant people and we should make them stay in our country, and whatever the ideas they want to implement for the growth of the nation, that should happen in India only, because they are all our people and they have made use of our resources and the knowledge, and with that they go away from the country and they are spending or they are sharing their knowledge for the people of other country. So we should avoid that, and we should find out that the people who are very good at maybe the educationalists or entrepreneurs or any people for that matter, right? So we should make them to stay back in the country and work for the betterment of the mother India. And with this, now let's look at the participation of the students in higher education. So the stages of education and the gross enrollment ratio, this is just I got from some web sources, that's the economic survey recently. So the elementary, the enrollment is very good, of course, 97% to 100% almost. The secondary education just drops down to 57%. Why? There is a gap of almost 40% when it comes to elementary to secondary, right? That we should think of. And then again, from secondary to higher education, there is definitely a significant dropout. That is only the 27%. So this is a very serious issue and a very challenging issue before the education system in India. Why there is a significant dropout when we go to higher education? So what happens to the students? Why they are not enrolling for higher education? What they are going to do? Are they self-employed, or they are doing something else, or they have become an entrepreneur? So what they are going to do? How they are contributing to the society or to the country? In what way? So that need to be known, and accordingly we should make them to go for higher education, because here higher education is not just to get a government job or a job in a corporate sector, but to lead a very comfortable life, or to think something innovative in life, and to handle the challenges of the situations. We must be educated, and that definitely higher education plays a significant role in that sense. So it's very much important that more and more students should enroll for higher education and get educated. So thus the participation rates of the Indian population in education, and especially in higher education, are quite low. So with this, now look at the four main rationales for introducing ICT in education. So one of the solutions in order to handle this particular challenge could be the integration of ICT in education, right? And today, even in national education policy and the recent regulations of the university and the government, so there is a provision for the students to learn some subjects in online or in a distance mode, right? And a lot of facilities are made available for such dedicated students to study in such mode, right? So keeping that point in mind, now let's look at the four main rationale for introducing ICT in education. The first rationale is the social, that is, perceived role that technology now plays in society and the need for familiarizing students with the technology. Of course, maybe from 10 years back, the students were not that smart, right? But now, because of the drastic change in the technology, that is like smartphones and other kind of gadgets, the people have become more comfortable and familiarized, because even a school going kid is very much comfortable with the smartphone, and that student studying in 4th standard or 5th standard is capable of attending online classes, access to material online, and do a lot more things with smartphone and with the today's technology. Many times we comment that it is not that good, but definitely I say any technology, anything as such, always comes with merits and limitations, or advantages or disadvantages. So a technology is like a knife, right? We should use it carefully, but it's our responsibility, being the teachers, being the parents, it's our responsibility. And of course, being the technocrats also, there should be some filter, right? Access control, where we can control the users with such kind of firewalls, where we should allow the students or whoever access to such kind of material online. They are not allowed to access any material. There should be some firewall, and only appropriate content which is very much useful should be made available to the users, right? So that's how perceived role that technology now plays in a society and the need for familiarizing students with the technology. That is the social rationale behind ICT in education. When it comes to occasional, preparing students for jobs that require skills in technology. So today, because almost all offices are digitized, wherever you go, you see there is a laptop or a desktop, right? If you go to a hotel, the waiter will come and record something in a digital notepad. If you go to a supermarket, there is a person, there is a point of sale, he is going to record what items are purchased by the customers. Accordingly, they are going to prepare the bill. If you are traveling in a train or a bus, you will see the device which gives you a printed ticket. So here, what do you mean by this? So this means, because the technology has revolutionized our day-to-day activities, definitely we should acquire the skills needed in order to cope up with the today's technology. So today we have become very familiar, because whenever we go to a market, or even when we purchase vegetables in a street, we need not keep change with us, right? There will be a QR code, and just scan your QR code with your smartphone and pay whatever you want to pay. So that's how you are making the task more simple and more convenient. So we need to prepare the people in general, or students in particular, for jobs that require skills in technology, right? There's how to use a MS Office, how to handle any digitized content, right? How to interact in a digital world. So such kind of skill we must provide to the students. Then catalytic, that means utility of technology to improve performance and effectiveness in teaching, management, and many other social activities. In the coming slides, I have included few points regarding this, how we can improve the performance and effectiveness in teaching, right? Or management and many other social activities. You remember our earlier days before this technology. The students, the teacher used to take more than 15 to 20 minutes to draw a picture on the board, and then they have to explain. Or they have to use a chart and then they have to explain. But today we have a very sophisticated technology where we can do animations, right? And we can prepare any kind of visualization, and we can make the content much more attractive, much more effective, so that we can drag the attention of the students, and we can make them engaged in the teaching. And that's what the catalytic we can do with the ICT in education. And the next is the pedagogical, to utilize technology in enhancing learning, flexibility, and efficiency in the curriculum delivery. So definitely it is flexible and also very efficient. The flexible in the sense, So definitely now you are, because you are attending this workshop, suppose if there was a mandatory requirement that this kind of workshop should done in offline mode only. So definitely many of you who are a responsibility at your academic institutions, being the coordinators of a particular programs or a courses, or being principals or many other academic responsibilities, it would be very, very inconvenient for you to travel to Mysore and attend the workshop physically and go back and take up your other regular activities. But now, because of the technology, it's quite flexible, right? Sitting at your place, you can listen to, right? So definitely we can make it much more effective, like an offline course as well, right? But what is very much important is our mindset, right? We should feel that we are attending the classes, and that should be very serious, right? So that's how to utilize the technology in enhancing learning and flexibility and efficiency in the curriculum delivery. So all these are the 4 important rationale behind introducing the ICT in education. All these things can be accomplished with the support of ICT. So with this, let's understand what is ICT. Of course, you're already familiar with this definition because I already mentioned that. For the sake of continuity and completeness, I have included some points, right? And let's look at what is ICT. It is a generic term referring to technologies which are being used for collecting, storing, editing, and passing on information in various forms. You're already familiar because every day we use our smartphone and many applications there. And one such application which is very, very common to each one of us in our day-to-day life is WhatsApp. So we have several WhatsApp groups where we communicate what kind of information, what are all the kind of information through WhatsApp. You can share a video, you can share photos, you can share text, you can communicate, right? Or you can call if there is any urgency. So that's how it's a part of ICT, information and communication technology, where it supports collection of information, storing of information. You can edit and pass on information in various forms. That is in the form of a text, in the form of image, in the form of video, and we call it as a multimedia information, right? And that's what is the definition. So with this, information and communication technology means is defined as the study or use of electronic equipment, especially computers, for storing, analyzing, and sending out the information. Of course, very similar to the previous one. We can just put it in a different way. So the communication technology is the process of sending, receiving, and exchanging information. This is only a general definition. I'm sure that all of you are quite familiar with this. Let's simply skip this. So here is some of the gadgets which are associated with the ICT. When I say ICT, what are all the things which comes under ICT? Obviously, all of us are very much familiar that the computers, the desktops, the games, the networks, the laptops, notebooks, Wi-Fi, internet, okay, tablets, right, hard disk drives, routers, and personal digital assistants, camcorders, memory cards, video conferencing, DVDs, sensors, television, flash drives, scanners, right, printers, instant messaging, email, mobile phones, MP3, etc., etc. Everything will be the part of the ICT, right? Today, I am sure that when you look at this, definitely we are living in this world, right, where ICT has changed our lifestyle and we are living with it, right? And that's what is the meaning of this. Now let's look at the ICT literacy, right? Why ICT literacy and what are the things we must do to make the people literate with respect to ICT. So to be effective in the 21st century, citizens must be able to exhibit functional and critical thinking skills. So this is very much important, which I already mentioned that. Today we have the freedom, but we should be very responsible. Many times we tell our students when they come to post-graduation, they almost have 100% freedom, right? The parents are giving them a lot of freedom. The teacher also giving them a lot of freedom because they're all grown-ups and they are responsible. But if they don't take responsibility at their work, then it will be very dangerous. So if at all we want to be or if at all we have to be in a right track, then we should have a responsibility. So a freedom without responsibility is very dangerous. So ICT literacy basically involves using digital technology, communication tools, and access, manage, integrate, and evaluate, and create information in order to function in a knowledge society. All of you are already familiar with LMS system, right? And many of you are already familiar with the Unified University College Management System, how you have recorded the details of the students in that portal, and how you have shared or mapped the courses, and how you have declared the results, right? And how you are going to store the details of all the students, how you can access, manage, integrate, and evaluate, right? So of course, having interacted with the USMS or any such tools, you have understood the importance of that digital technology and the communication, right? Even now, many of you are quite familiar that if your kids are studying in schools, right, where the digital technology has been very well incorporated, and if your student could not attend one particular session or one day, then automatically you will receive a message stating that your kid has not attended the class today. Or if your kid is not feeling well, immediately you will get a message that your kid is not feeling well, please come and take your kid. So that is the support by the digital technology today, right? So apart from that, so definitely we are very much familiar that how to access the information, manage, because today I don't think any office will do any a letter without MS Word, right? We have stopped writing the letters by hand because we have a tool. We have MS Word. We compose the document, we print the document in a very beautiful way, and we communicate. And similarly, now we are expecting a paperless office. Everything can be digitized and can be sent through mail, right? Or any such kind of communication tools, right? So that's where we have to make the people literate about the information and communication technology, right? So with this, now let's look at the importance of ICT. ICT can play a valuable role to monitor and log the progress of the students across time, place, and varied activities. So definitely you understand that visualization is very, very important to make a decision. If I present any information in the form of a text or a mere numbers, it may not be possible for you to make a good decision. But when the text information or any numbers which are presented in the form of a statistics, if it is transformed into a very meaningful visualization, then definitely we can take a very good decision. So that's where ICT plays a valuable role to monitor and log the progress of students across time, place, and varied activities. Then ICT-based education provides a greater reliability, validity, and efficiency of data collection and greater ease of analysis, evaluation, and interpretation of data at any educational level. For example, many of you are already familiar with preparation for a NAC cycle or NBA or AAA, right? And all such kind of auditing process demands a lot of documents, a lot of data. And you need to analyze what is the gross enrollment ratio for various courses like MCOM or BCom or MBA or arts or commerce in any bachelor degree, right? And what is the percentage of results you have obtained? So what is the dropout from one year to another year? What could be the reason, right? So if at all you want to assess all those things, how you can do it? Can you do it manually? So definitely not possible, because with today's volume of data, right, a volume of information, it is not possible for you to do it in a manual way. It is not reliable, because we human beings can do mistakes or errors because of oversight or for some other reasons, right? So it's not reliable, and also validity cannot be ensured. So efficiency of data collection is also quite difficult. So in order to provide a greater ease of analysis, evaluation, and interpretation at any education level, ICT tools are very much important, and that's where it plays a very significant role. And the next, it helps to individualize the teaching or guidance method as per the student's need. I will cover this point when I take up the e-learning, how we can individualize the teaching or guidance method as per the student's need. Because in a class of 60 students, you cannot expect that all students will receive the lecture with the same spirit or with the same grasping level. Some students are slow learners, some students are fast learners, some students are very good at thinking and analysis, some students are not that good. But how do you handle such a heterogeneous class of students? So that's why many times the principals in a particular college, if the overall result is dropped down, then you have to identify why the students could not be successful in a particular course or in a particular subject, right? Then they tell you that you take additional classes, supplementary classes, or etc., and make them learn better and get successful in that particular course. So that's how, with the support of ICD, somewhere we can concentrate on such class of students who call slow learners, or which needs more time for learning and understanding. So definitely for such class of students, the ICT is a boon, and with this we can individualize the teaching or a guidance method. And the next, it also boosts the confidence level and self-esteem of the students who acquire the ICT skills through the process of being exposed to such kind of learning, right? So, because many times when we ask our students, earlier they were telling that we do not know how to use this tool, that tool, and etc. But now once they started practicing it, when they exposed to recent ICT tools, then they become more confident and their self-esteem, yes, I am also using this advanced technology for learning, right? And I can use all these ICT tools and the skills and I can learn better. So you just ask your students, how many of them are able to search for a particular relevant information in a web sources and get it downloaded and make use of it for their regular curriculum, right? Suppose if they are not aware of it, and if you teach them how to search for relevant information and very important information, maybe it's a text information or video or audio, it doesn't matter, right? And if students get acquainted with that, and if they are able to search for good information, all right, and if they are able to learn through ICT, then definitely they themselves feel I'm very confident. So without anybody's support, I can learn, right? And also their self-esteem of the students, because they also in the normal stream, right? Okay, because they also learn the ICT skills and they are more confident, and also they are competent enough in the today's digital technology era. So this is how the ICT plays a very significant role. So with this, if we understand it in a nutshell, the ICT characteristics are as follows. The first one is the effectiveness, that means more interactive and fewer errors, customized, personalized, archivable, transparent, and also searchable. So I am sure that each one of you are quite familiar with these terminologies and you have already experienced. The most interactive. So through video lectures or audio lectures and animated kind of stuff, you can make your teaching and learning more interactive. And definitely because we are making use of the tools, definitely we can reduce the errors which we normally do when we do it manually, right? So with the support of the technology, we can reduce the errors which would otherwise more if you do it manually. And it's more customized. So I already mentioned that you can tailor depending upon the need of the audience or the students and whoever for that matter, right? We can customize according to their need and we can deliver the things in a better way. And similarly, it can be personalized for an individual need, as I already mentioned. And also the data can be archivable. We can store it and we can use it any number of times whenever needed. For example, let us assume that I have downloaded one audio lecture, right? And I want to listen to that, or I have downloaded a video lecture and I just want to watch that for 2 times, 3 times because I have to understand the content to the depth. Then how I can do it? The very simple thing is I can store it in a storage media, and I can access it any number of times. That you have already seen, right? So whenever you have downloaded any video through your WhatsApp, you can keep that video in your storage area and you can access to that video any number of times, right? So very similarly, I have a very important lecture recorded and I want to listen to that lecture any number of times until I understand it better. I can download it and store it and I can use it any number of times. And that's what is archivable. And it's a transparent, nothing hide and seek. Everybody will be knowing about it and everybody will receive the same content, right? It's very transparent. And also it is a searchable. You can search for a particular piece of information and you can use it because you're already familiar, right? Whenever you want to find a particular recipe, right? Maybe how to prepare a particular dish, you can go to YouTube and search for that recipe. Say, for example, how to prepare bisibelabath, how to prepare puliyogare. So you will get a recipe, you will get a lot of videos, right? So searchable, right? Not only that, you can search for any academic piece of information, right? And that is what is the effectiveness of ICT, right? Okay, because just with a mouse click, let us go to a Google search or even your mobile, right? YouTube search or anything as such, just type your keyboard, just press the search button. The next moment, you will get a lot of material downloaded to your workspace and you can see whether this material is more appropriate and relevant to me. If so, make use of it. And that's how it's very, very effective. So with this, the next is the efficiency. That means a faster, a cheaper, fewer steps, less people, less paperwork. Just imagine, many of you have already completed your PhD, maybe some 15 years back or 20 years back. And some of you are now carrying out your research work. So when we were doing research, maybe some 20 years back, and whenever we want to get a journal article, we used to go to IISc Bangalore and we used to spend 2 days there just to get 1 or 2 journals. And we used to spend a lot of money and time and effort just to get 1 or 2 journals. But today the scenario has been changed because of the ICT. Sitting at my mobile and using my mobile, sitting at my desktop or a laptop, just with a mouse click, I can get access to any kind of journal, right? Whether it's a IEEE journal or ASM Digital Library or a DBLP or elsewhere, whatever the journal you name, I can just be a member of the journal and I can get access to that journal with a fewer, right, steps, right? And also cheaper price. I did not travel. I did not spend my time. I just pay $1 or $2. I can get an article of my interest. And also the faster, right? Within few minutes, I can get the article of my interest because my desktop is the entire globe. You can access to Stanford University. You can access to Illinois University. You can access to Michigan State University, right? Whatever the universities you name, you can get access to it, right? So faster, cheaper, fewer steps, less people. You do not depend on anybody, right? You cannot ask someone, please go there, get me the Xerox copy, search there, get me the copy, nothing like that. Because you have seen that. Whenever you go to a library, first you have to show your card and then you should request the attender there and ask him to get me the book somewhere. Suppose if the person is not there, if he has gone for a cup of tea or for a lunch, you have to wait for him. But here, nothing as such, right? Less people, no intervention at all, right? The desktop is there, laptop is there, internet is there, search engine is there. Just go ahead with less people and less paperwork. And that's what I call efficiency. And the next is the innovation, the new products and the new technology. Every time you will get exposed to new product and the new technology, and any new product and technology will always comes with added features which makes you much more convenient and comfortable, right? So this is how the ICT characteristics help us to make our job much more easy and convenient, and particularly in the field of education, right? So with this, now look at the ICT as a tool in the process of education, right? I just quickly cover up some important points which are already familiar. So the first one is the informative tool. It provides a vast amount of data in various formats such as audio, video, and documents, which you are already familiar. And the situating tool means it creates situations which the student experiences in real life. Thus, simulation or virtual reality is possible. I will show you some example videos later on how you can create a situation. I mean, you can simulate an environment. For example, you want to explain a titration in chemistry, or you want to explain a Newton's law in physics, or you want to explain something in economics or commerce. You can simulate the environment and you can explain better the whole scenario and what is the solution to the problem in such kind of virtual reality and also augmented reality and through a simulation. And that's what is called the situating tool. Then the constructive tool, that means to process the data and generate the analysis that you are already familiar. Then communicative tool, it can be used to remove communication barriers such as that of space and time. And today all of us are quite familiar with WhatsApp and email, right? And many other communication, right? So ICT can be used as a communication tool which removes any communication barriers, right? So such as that of space and time. You can communicate at any time and space, etc. So with this, now look at the attributes of computer-based technology. So it is a multi-sensory delivery, means text, graphics, animation, sound, and video. We already mentioned. Active learning means enhanced learner interest. So definitely you can ask the kids who are studying at primary or higher education, maybe higher primary or a secondary school, right? So definitely when you allow them to new technology, right? Of course, in a learning environment. So definitely it enhances the learner's interest. Suppose if you present something in a form of a text, the kids may not like. That's why when you look at the books of LKJ, UKJ, or primary schools, there are a lot of images, right? Even if it is a small story, it comes with a lot of images so that the students can gain interest by looking at the images rather than a text which looks almost dry for the students because they don't have imagination power, right? So associated with each text, if there is an image, then the students will have an interest and they can learn. So such animation can be supported with the ICT, and that definitely makes the learner or any student at any level who is active. That's what is called active learning and cooperative learning. That is a positive group or a social interaction. So whenever we form a WhatsApp group of a class of students, they can discuss among themselves, right? Even we have several social platforms like LinkedIn, ResearchGate, okay, many such kind of social media groups are there where we can form such like-minded groups and we can share our ideas and we can pose any problems and we can expect a solution from the learned people, right? I mean, any academic interactions, right? And that's what is called a cooperative learning, right? So the students can work together, think together, analyze together, understand, share their knowledge, and that's how they can learn better. Then communication skills like one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many is possible. Then multicultural education links students from across the country, around the world. Now today, because we already understand that it's not the space and the time is not at all a barrier, you can get access to anybody across the globe, right, through this ICT. So it's a multicultural education. If you are carrying out a research on a particular topic, you can form a group who are working on a similar domain and a similar topic, and you can get interaction with them, and that's what is called a multicultural education, and that's what is the attributes of computer-based technology. Then the motivation, that's a greater learner engagement, right? Definitely when students started learning or using ICT, then definitely they get engaged with the learning activity, right? And that's how the system or ICT motivate the students to engage in a greater learning environment. So with this understanding, now let's look at some of the ICT tools. One is multimedia PC, laptop and notebook, I already mentioned. CDs, DVDs, digital video and still camera, that also you're familiar. Then internet and its tools like email, browsers, websites, search engines and etc. Then computer-aided instructions and computer-mediated video, audio conferencing, you are familiar. Digital libraries, ebooks, and electronic publications, that's also familiar to you, each one of you. And Microsoft publishing like newsletter, poster, and brochure, they're all part of the ICT tools. And in continuation to that, some of you may be aware of it, and some of you may not be aware of it. But here I'm just presenting few such tools, may be useful for your academic activity. So one such tool is called a Blackboard. And some of you might have heard about it, and some of you might not have heard about it. Please, in case if you are curious to know about it, you just browse through and understand more about the Blackboard. It's a popular teaching tool that comes with numerous capabilities. Teachers can easily administer tests, monitor performance, manage syllabus, and even upload grades. So many of you have already experienced this when we were in a COVID period. Because for almost one semester and more than one semester, we were engaged in online teaching, where we used to take classes for students online, right? So definitely at those times, these kind of tools were become very, very useful and popular. So one such tool is a Blackboard, where you can do all these kind of activities like teacher can easily administer tests, monitor performance, manage syllabus, and even upload grades, right? And another is the Google Classroom. Many of you might have heard about it. It's a virtual classroom that makes learning easy and fun. Teachers can integrate educational applications or websites and create interactive assignments, right? Maybe some of you are quite familiar. If not, nothing to worry. Just get an idea about how exactly the Google Classroom works. Next is the Trello. It's a collaborative tool that is used widely in IT companies with large teams, but it has several applications for educators as well. It supports project-based learning for students because many science teachers are there and you are teaching chemistry, physics, and mathematics, right? And computer science and many biology or botany, etc. Right? So definitely there will be a project, and even in management and other subjects also there are a project. Okay, so for project-based learning, definitely we can make use of the Trello. You can explore the features of this particular tool, and you will see very, very useful features where you can use those features to support project-based learning for students. And another is the Microsoft Teams. It's a Microsoft Office 365 product. One can host meetings, chat, share files, and use every Microsoft Office app using Teams. So what we are right now doing with Zoom, the same thing can also be done with the Microsoft Team and the WebEx and Google Meet and etc. This also a part of the ICT tool, right? So with this, online coding websites such as DataCamp, HackerRank, CoderByte can also be used. So nothing to worry about it. These are some of the tools which computer science faculties are aware of it, right? So nothing to worry about this, but just for your information, I have just included this particular point. So with this, now look at the subject specific tools. I quickly mention some of the subject specific tools. For example, if you are teaching a geography, right? What are the ICT tools which supports geography teaching, right? Here is the Google Map. All of you are quite familiar. With Google Maps, kids can learn to find the distance between the two places and look at 360-degree images of places. And this can help students become familiar with multiple locations across the world. And today, even you can reach the unknown places with a Google Map. You just ask the person to share the Google location, current location or live location. And just by tracking that, you can reach. And that is what is the support with technology. That's also a part of the ICT. And another one is called the Google Earth. Many of you have heard about it, and some of you even have explored it. This tool shows the entire Earth with every location and supports an amazing zoom feature. Kids can learn about different regions, land masses, and water bodies in a funny way. Look at here. This what is a Google Earth image. You can see and you can identify the places, and you can know much more about the geographical landscape of a particular area. And that's what is supported by the ICT tool, and that's what is Google Earth. Now I have one video. I don't know whether I think it will take you to the YouTube, right? So let's check in a offline, maybe this material will be shared with you, and you can just click on that YouTube link and you will see the Google Earth features, right? I just skipped this. And here is the ICT tool for teaching mathematics. There are mathematics teachers. You see, there is a tool called Configure It Geometry, right? And this tool makes learning geometry pretty easy. We can teach kids about several mathematical proofs and theorems in an engaging way, right? So look at here, there are some images. So you want to explain about a Pythagoras theorem, or you want to explain polar coordinate concepts and Euclidean coordinate concept and line, intercept, and etc. Right? So all those concepts can be beautifully presented in a dynamic way with the support of this particular tool, so that the students will love and they can engage in learning, right? So that's what the power of this ICT tool, particularly the Configure IT Geometry. And here is in continuation to that, the same tool, you can see the isosceles triangle and etc. Right? The student A mock test, B mock, and etc. And there is a theorem error, I am stuck, there are 2 errors, and etc. So all such kind of information can be shared with the instructor and can be resolved where a student can easily understand. And in continuation, you can see some more examples here, the tangents and perpendicular lines and etc. related to geometry. And another is a Q thing. We can use this tool to teach kids how to solve math problems in 4 steps. That is, understand, plan, solve, and review. Right? So these are the major steps in solving any math problem. Understand the problem, that's what is called analysis. Devise a plan, that's planning. Carry out the plan, that's what is implementation. And look back, that is the reflection. So these are the major steps that you can explain with this Q thing, how a math problem can be understood and can be studied, right? That's what is called the Q thing. If there are mathematics teachers, you please explore more about this Q thing and configure geometry, so that you can find very amazing and important features which you can make use of in case, if at all you want to know, if you find it more appropriate for your students to learn. So now ICT tools for teaching physics. Here are some example tools, that is electronics. It's a charged particle simulator which allows you to observe particle interactions, simulate a lighting rod, create a cathode ray tube, and better visualize all those hard to illustrate concepts. Electronics will help students understand the world of electricity and gain a deeper knowledge about it. Another tool, Bobo Explore Light. It's an app that will help us to demonstrate the properties of light through easy to comprehend visualizations. And another is called the Gravity Lab. It allows you to create your own universe, simulate the collision of massive bodies to explain how momentum is conserved, and see how the first 2 of Kepler's theory laws of planetary motion work. So definitely the mathematics, physics teachers can definitely teach these kind of concepts to the students at graduate level and even at a postgraduate level, or even at sometimes a PU level as well. So by making use of these ICT tools, we can provide a much more interesting and very good learning environment, which is very, very interactive, where the students can show much interest and alert in the class. And another is called the Particle Zoo. This tool will help students to understand the basic concepts behind the particle analysis, right, and the particle physics. And let me cover a few more tools, and then we can take a break. ICT tools for teaching chemistry like ChemDraw, ChemSketch, ChemWindow, ChemDoodle, XDrawChem, etc. are used for teaching and research. So because many of you who are teaching chemistry, you know the different kind of structures we have to present. For example, I want to present H2SO4 or benzene ring and etc. So you can make use of these tools to draw that kind of structural compounds, and you can explain better, and double helix, single helix kind of protein, right, etc. So a lot of things the chemistry people are already familiar with those things, but you just make use of these tools and you make the teaching much more attractive and interesting to the students. And another is Chem Informatics. Programs like Chemist 3D, ChemWriter, JMOL, etc. is extensively used for a molecular design and visualization. and ICT tools for teaching commerce and management. So here are some of the example commerce and management tools. That is ERP software. Many of you are quite familiar. That's SAP, Winman, CA ERP, Tally ERP 9, Zoho Books, Profit Book, then Canva, Calendly, HubSpot, Freshdesk, and MailerLite. So those teachers, if anybody who was teaching commerce and management, you can explore any of these tools and get more information about this, and even you can explore further and you can see the features of each of those tools and you see how these tools can be used to teach the commerce and management to your students, right? I'm just presenting before you some of the important tools. So here is the inside of SAP, and you can see enterprise resource planning and financial management and CRM, customer experience, spend management, supply chain management, human capital management, and business technology platform, and etc. And further, you have a lot of things there, right? How supplier management, supporting and contract and procurement, invoices and payments, extend workforce and services, travel and expense. So all those things you can incorporate and you can explain the commerce and management very well with the support of this kind of tool. So with this, I think do we have a break at 11:15, right? So please let me know. Should I start for a few minutes? Hello, sir.
Sir, break. Yeah. We require break.
Yeah, as per the schedule, I understand that at
30 minutes.
15, right? Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Shall we take a break for 15 to 20 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. I think all of you are already engaged. Huh?
No, sir. No, sir. We are